Hello, and welcome back to the Recruiting Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, James Welch, the founder and CEO of Recruiting Solutions. And before we dive into today's topic, I want to take a moment to thank our guest from our last episode, Command Sergeant Major retired Stephen Sibley. I want to thank Sergeant Major Sibley for sharing his insights on passion and purpose and the mindset that's required to be a successful recruiter. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, I highly encourage you to check it out. It's packed with some practical wisdom and no-nonsense advice that every recruiter and leader can benefit from. Now today we're going to tackle another critical topic for military recruiters, and that is recruiting on college campuses. The highlights from this discussion are based on my book, The Art of Military Recruiting, Lessons Learned from the Recruiting Battlefield, which is available now on Amazon. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how colleges and universities, especially community and technical colleges, are some of the most underutilized yet high potential recruiting grounds in America. So let's get started. First, if you're a recruiter listening to this, you've got to understand that colleges and universities are an untapped gold mine. Think about this. About 30% of college freshmen don't make it through their first year of college. 30%. You're talking about a population in the tens of thousands across America. And although some drop out because they want to do something else with their life, or maybe they need some more money for college. But you as a military recruiter can help in both of those areas. Now, unfortunately, too many recruiters avoid colleges and universities. And this could be for a variety of reasons. It could be out of intimidation or a lack of familiarity. But the truth is this, with the right approach, those college campuses can yield a steady stream of enlistments. It's going to take some time and effort to get the ball rolling, but it is worth it. And I've seen this from the college side of the house as well as the recruiting side. I was fortunate enough while in the Army to serve as a professor of military science at a university. Soon after taking over, I reached out to the local recruiting company and I offered them to build a partnership. I even offered them an office space in the ROTC building so they could prospect on campus. We had a great meeting. They said yes, they wanted to do it, and they never showed up. The National Guard, on the other hand, they took me up on that offer. They had recruiters move in, occupy the space, and they had tremendous success on the campus. And that experience taught me something simple but powerful. A recruiter's presence matters. If you're not visible on a college campus, you're not viable. So how do you do that? Where do you start? And I would argue one place is with 2-year community technical colleges. If you don't know where to start there. And here's a great statistic for you. According to the National Center for Education, over 5.3 million students are currently enrolled in public 2-year institutions. Those students are probably more likely to enlist, right? They're hands-on learners. They'll often come from working class backgrounds, so they may have some veterans in their family, and they are seeking some structure and opportunity in life. And yeah, maybe they can't afford a 4-year degree or don't even want one, but that's where you, as a military recruiter, can come in and make up the difference. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you got to visit the campus, right? Go there, figure out where the students gather. It could be a student center, cafeteria, or outside between classes. But you got to figure out where they are. And again, be present. If you do a table setup somewhere, and this goes for really any kind of table setup anywhere, but particularly on a college campus, get out from behind the table and go to the students. Don't just stand there and wait for them to come to you. They probably won't come to you. So be proactive. And then when you do get in front of them, show some genuine interest. You want to understand their passions, and their goals. So you got to ask them questions and you got to be approachable. And again, that's just by being present where the students actually were and being proactive to engage them. So figure out where the students are and go to them. Now, it's not just the students you got to talk to on a college campus. Whether it's a 2-year community college or a 4-year university, you've got to build allies and partnerships. And one place to do that is the Career Services Office. Every college has one. So start on your 2-year campuses, go to the Career Services Office. And what you're going to find there are professionals who help students find part-time jobs, internships, and even full-time careers once they finish school. The key here is that you've got to present yourself as a partner to the Career Services Office, someone that can help them with their mission. Because if you don't do that, they're going to see you as a poacher who's going to steal their students. Obviously, they don't want that. But when you talk to them and they understand that a recruiter can help these students with certifications, it can help them find stable employment, they're going to welcome you as part of their team and part of their mission. Now, on a 4-year campus, the strategy may change slightly, but it's pretty much the same. The key difference there is that access on a 4-year university can sometimes be more challenging, and the relationships sometimes take longer to build. But that's okay, because the payoff is huge. My advice here is that you've got to approach the universities with a certain degree of humility and professionalism. And what I mean by that is that you've got to frame your presence around helping students. You're helping them graduate, you're helping them stay in school, even helping them find careers after graduation. And one thing to consider is this: in many state schools, part of the calculus for them receiving state funding are 2 metrics. One is the percentage of students who get a job after graduation. And the other is the number of students who graduate within 5 years. So as a military recruiter, you can help the university or the college with both of those missions, right? Whether you're recruiting for active duty or the reserves, you can help them get a part-time job or a full-time job. And then you're also helping them get money for college, right? Especially with the reserves. If they're struggling to stay in college because they need some money, okay, join the reserves or National Guard. It's a win-win. But again, you got to build those allies and partnerships. Now, the key question is, who do you ally with? I would argue ROTC is a great starting place. Now, sometimes when recruiters do go to a college campus, they gravitate to ROTC and just stay there. That's a mistake. I'll tell you this: if your branch of service has an ROTC presence on a university campus, go there, talk to the recruiting officer, talk to the professor of military science. And what you'll find is, you may not get a lot of enlistments from ROTC, but it's the breach through which you can enter the rest of campus and build relationships. So after you meet with the recruiting officer, the professor of military science, help them understand you're not there to compete with them. You're there to collaborate and to work together. And this is a common issue that I've seen time and again. Recruiters will go to a college campus, which is great, but then they fail to go to ROTC, right? So now ROTC sees them as someone poaching their potential cadets. You can't do that. You've got to talk to them, help them understand that you're not there to take their cadets. And what you'll find is that if you're willing to help them recruit for ROTC, as well as your own mission, you're going to be far more successful. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you're recruiting on a campus and you meet a freshman or a sophomore, and they say they want to be an officer in the Army. As a recruiter, you should say, okay, this is someone I need to take to the ROTC building and introduce to the recruiting officer. You don't want to persuade that person to quit school and enlist, because again, that's where you become an enemy of both the campus and the ROTC. And then conversely, let's say you meet a junior or senior, and maybe they're either struggling with school, want to do something different, or maybe they're on the verge of graduation and want to jump straight into a career. Okay, that's the kind of person that would be more likely to enlist, right? So understand which prospect is going to be better for enlistments and which are going to be better for ROTC. And what you'll find is that when the ROTC cadre see you helping their program, they're going to return the favor and they're going to send referrals your way. However, again, if you're poaching from their prospective cadets, they're probably going to ask you to go somewhere else. And there are some other benefits to working with ROTC as well. One, at least for the Army, is that when you request some national recruiting assets, you're more likely to get those if it's a joint request between the ROTC program and the local recruiting station. So work together to get those assets to come to your area. And then secondly, recruiters can also benefit at a personal level from working with ROTC. I've seen this many, many times, but if you help ROTC with teaching some of their classes or doing some of their field work, or maybe even just helping them with PT formation every once in a while, that can give you campus access. And at least for the Army, they can also help you earn your instructor badge. I've seen ROTC programs send Army recruiters to the ROTC instructor course for 2 weeks so they can become certified and can teach classes in ROTC. That's just one example of how you can personally benefit while also making those long-term investments on campus to benefit your recruiting efforts. Now, as I mentioned, you start with ROTC and now you expand across campus. And the reason you do that is that you have to expand your network on a college campus. Beyond ROTC, there are 3 other allies that you cannot overlook. Now, we've already mentioned one. That's the Career Services Office. You've got to really know those people that work there and make sure they're advocating for service in the military. And the second one is often overlooked, but it's the Veterans Resource Center. And I've heard many recruiters say, well, there's no need to talk to the Veterans Office because they're only helping veterans. They're helping people that get out of the military. Yes, that's true, but that thought process is a mistake, because you're also missing out on another key demographic. The staff members in a Veterans Resource Center, yes, they're helping veterans, but they're also helping the children of veterans. Now, why is that important? Because the students who are the sons or daughters of veterans are twice as likely to enlist as any other student. So if you know the staff members in the Veterans Resource Center and your presence is known there, when they find a young man or woman who's interested in service, they're going to call you. They're going to refer that student to you. So make those relationships with the Veterans Resource Center. And then thirdly, this is the really important one, the Financial Aid Office. And why is that important? Because many students, they turn to the Financial Aid Office when they run out of money. Maybe they lose their scholarship, whatever the case may be, but they go there first. And when the students go there, you need to make sure the staff know how the military can assist those students. And one way to do that, if your branch allows it, set up a breakfast or luncheon for the staff members in the Financial Aid Office. Lay out for them the many benefits that come with military service. And then let those staff members advocate for you and send you referrals for students who may need to join the reserves or National Guard so they can get money for college. Or maybe even enlist them after duty because they're going to leave school. And then maybe place some brochures or other literature there in the waiting room of the office. And then once you've established those relationships, you have to continue to invest and build on them. Just like you would anywhere else in your local community, you need to have some regular visits. We call this a milk run, right? Where you're going to the same place every week, every other week, whatever it may be. But you want to visit these offices, say hi to the same people so they get to know your face and they know you. You can drop off new brochures, maybe bring them a cup of coffee or some branded gear with your branch of service on it. And over time, yeah, you're going to build some great relationships, but they're going to advocate for you and send students your way to talk about service in the military. Now, I'm not going to lie, that's going to take some time and some effort, but it's an investment that's worth it if you stick to it. You can't do this for a month and expect to get enlistments. It may take several months or a year, but once it starts, it'll pay off big time. Now, when it comes to students to target, obviously, anybody on a college campus is worth talking to. But I would argue, hey, your time's limited. Start by targeting those students on a college campus who are more likely to enlist. One area to consider, look for the athletes across campus, right? And we're talking especially smaller sports like rugby or lacrosse or wrestling. Those sports that have the warrior spirit, right? Those are athletes who already enjoy being part of a team and they like challenging themselves. This is exactly the kind of people who want to explore special operations or combat arms opportunities. Get out there and talk to them. Go to their games. If you're at a smaller university, you might also have some luck with other sports like football or baseball. But I'll tell you this, if you're recruiting on a large college campus, like say Auburn University, stay away from those big sports like football and basketball, okay? Those athletes are not going to enlist. And the odds are the coaches wouldn't want you around anyway. So don't waste your time there. But what you can do is focus on the smaller sports and also focus on the intramural fields. Those students who are playing intramural flag football or intramural soccer, they probably were all high school athletes and have probably thought about military service. Get out there on the intramural field and talk to them. Set up a table out there. Take out some branded water bottles, whatever the case may be. But target your efforts to those type of people, as well as the referrals you get from your other allies and partners on campus. That's how you win. And then finally, the bottom line is this. You have to remember, college campuses, they're not going to be an easy target. And yes, I get it. They can be somewhat intimidating, especially if you haven't gone to college. But that's okay. I put it this way. A military recruiter has done more with their life than 99% of the population. And now they're going to a college campus to talk to 18 to 20-year-olds who are still figuring out what to do with life. So there's no reason whatsoever to be intimidated. But to be successful, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some persistence, some genuine engagement, and above all, some professionalism. And here's a few takeaways that you need to think about again. Target those 2-year technical college first. Get your feet wet, build those relationships before you move on to the 4-year universities. And regardless of whether it's a 2-year or 4-year school, go to where the students are, not where you're comfortable. And what do I mean by that? Yes, you're probably more comfortable going to an ROTC building because there's people in uniform, and that's fine. But you got to go other places. You got to go to the student centers, the food courts, those kind of places. You got to go and build partnerships. Again, we talked about career services and ROTC, along with the Veterans Resource Office and financial aid. Go there and meet these people, build those relationships, and have them advocate on your behalf. And then wherever you go on a university campus, your professionalism is paramount. You want to be part of their team. You want to help them with their mission to keep students in school. And you do that with respect and professionalism. You must always make it clear that you're not there to steal their students. You're there to help their students. And you're there to help the university. And then to do all that, to be successful, you got to be visible. You have to show up consistently. It could be every week, every other week, whatever the case may be. Make your presence known. The more you do that, the more staff and students are going to see your face. And the more likely they are to talk to you about service. If you do those things, you'll turn your college campuses into engines of enlistment and community partnership. But again, it's going to take time. Don't go there for 1 or 2 months and expect to start getting enlistments. It will take some time. So be patient, and the rewards will come in the future. But whatever you do not surrender that college campus to another branch of service. Get out there and invest your time and energy, and you'll be successful. All right. Well, that's all we have for you today. And I want to thank you again for listening to the Recruiting Solutions Podcast. If you did find today's episode helpful, please check out my book, The Art of Military Recruiting, Lessons Learned from the Recruiting Battlefield. Again, it's available now on Amazon, and I've got it filled with real stories, lessons learned, and practical strategies to be effective as a military recruiter, regardless of your branch or service or component. And for more resources and articles and training opportunities, visit our website at recruitingsolutionsllc.com. That's recruitingsolutionsllc.com. And don't forget, listen to our previous episode as well with Command Sergeant Major retired Stephen Sibley. It's a masterclass in leadership and the mindset required to win in recruiting. Thank you again. And until next time, keep engaging, leading, and recruiting with purpose. Here's to less stress and more success on the recruiting battlefield.